saw her.
Yeah.
I smelled her.
Yeah.
My aunt has been dead since 2012.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's 2025. It's been 13 years.
Mm-hmm.
I did not just see her. I smelled her first.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Me and my mother was in the bank in my dream.
Yeah.
Me and my mom.
Yeah. In the dream, you and your mom were
We're in the bank. And my mama said, "Boo, give me give me the deposit slip because I can't never remember the numbers on the bottom of the deposit slip."
Yeah.
So I stepped over while she was at the teller. I reached over to get the deposit slip, and I looked up because I smelled her.
Yeah.
I smelled her.
Yeah.
And I turned around and I hung out with her. She was in the hood, done.
Yeah.
And she had my gold chains on. She was full honey. My aunt was she was a statuesque woman. She was a tall woman. She was a bigger woman. She was dark skinned and beautiful.
Yeah.
Her hair was layered, bitch. It was like it was she was done.
Yeah.
Like no, no.
Yeah.
And she was so done. And when I turned, she was walking through like very regal through the bank.
Yeah.
And I said, "Darling Raper." And she said, "Yeah."
Oh wow. Why do you think you were so close to this particular aunt?
It was just like I said to her, and she said, "Yeah." Like I haven't heard her voice in years.
Right.
So, but I knew it was her.
Yeah.
She was like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
And I said, she said, "I heard you in town." She was giving me all the things.
Move.
I heard you in town. And I said,
So one day I was going to work, and on my way to work, I ended up getting robbed.
Girl.
And hit me over the head with the pistol, bleeding, all of that.
Oh, so you had the thing too?
Well, what happened was that as soon as they finished robbing, those same people, a couple of minutes later, ended up dying.
Yeah. Yeah, well, listen, when the children said, the book says, touch not mine anointed one to do my prophet no harm.
Right. Someone in here told me to look up this olfactory memory, right? Like your olfactory nerves refer to your ability to smell, like you're smelling. So it says olfactory memory refers to the ability to remember and recognize smells, often associated with vivid and emotional recollections of past experiences. That's what I was asking. So it's like, and I'm not saying you didn't smell it, but what I'm saying is, this speaks to that. It's like, are you really smelling it, or is it because you were connected in an emotional way that you're remembering the smell, and it almost feels as if you're smelling it? Yeah.
I saw this.
Wait, when you're asleep, though, the smell? Like the smell?
Bitch, you know how I be dead asleep.
Yeah.
Bitch, I was dead. Okay, when Maddie dead asleep,
Yeah.
I was dead motherfucking asleep. And I was in the bank. I could almost make out the numbers on the bottom of the deposit slip. If I was asked to sit still, I could almost make out the numbers on the deposit slip.
Right.
So it was not like we were in the line. Bitch, I reached over there to get it. I got the thing over there, and it was when I touched the deposit slip. Like,
Yeah.
I looked up because
You smell it.
I smelled her.
Right. Yeah.
She was in the building. I was like, bitch, wait, I know you in here.
Yeah.
I haven't seen her in 13 years, Greg.
Yeah.
I haven't, the last thing that I did, like when we were burying her, we went to go get her stuff or whatever, and her purse was in the trunk. I mean, told you this. Her purse was in the trunk of the car, and I picked up her purse, and I held the purse like this, and all I could do, I smelled her.
Right.
It was, so I know what she smelled like.
Yeah.
That was 13 years ago.
Right.
So I had the purse, like, oh my God. I sobbed. I had her purse for a very long time. Then I had to let her stuff go because I was like, okay.
Right.
That's why when I reached for the deposit slip, bitch, I was like,
well, is it a fragrance that you could go buy? Or is just her essence that you smell, that you remember? I mean, or is it a perfume that reminds you of her? I'm not saying that you didn't smell it.
No, it was her essence.
Right.
It was her.
Well, my aunt, I remember a fragrance that she used to wear. I don't know what it was, but if I smelled somebody wearing it, I'm like, oh my God, that's her.
No.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying that's
like, because there's nobody that I could go and say, oh, well, she smelled. It smells like I can smell. Like my mama smelled like white diamond.
Right. That's what I'm asking. Right.
No, bitch, it wasn't no white diamond in there.
Right. It was her essence.
Bitch, it was her.
Yeah.
And so, okay, well, close out some of the shit. Close some of the things out in the bag. It was her. And so by it being her, nobody could tell me nothing different. I'm like, girl, a person could, not saying that you're trying to debunk, but a person could be like, I'm like, bitch, I know what my auntie smelled like.
Yeah. For sure.
I haven't smelled her in 13 years. And so because I have not smelled her in 13 years, I immediately knew that was her. Yeah. Immediately.
Bitch.
I was like, bitch.
Yeah.
Why you at here? Right. Because the bank was full of people. And I said, girl.
Hey, not by me. Bitch, don't y'all be hitting me.
Nasty bitch, and she was an all white, jewel, gold, wing.
Hey!
Said
said to her, I called her name and she responded right.
Can y'all stop?
Her name, she responded. I said, darling, right? And she turned. It's very grand. Yeah. Like, but you know it's me. Right. Those but that's not her. She's visited me multiple times, but I hadn't seen her in a while. No one that I've lost has ever visited. I've never had that experience, but I've had people say this. You know, that they've seen people. Even my contractor and I, we were talking about it like 2 weeks ago. He was saying he and his dad didn't get along. And his father passed away, and he had a dream. He said, I could literally see him moving across the room. He said, I didn't see no legs or nothing. I could just see his spirit when he had on, describing what he had on. He said, he just kind of moved there across the room. And he said, he looked at me and he said, I'm okay. And he just kept on, he said, he was just crying. Yes, because you know, you only have, it's only moments. Right. And I don't know how long I was in that bank, or even how long I was sleeping. I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you that, but I just know that I had her for those moments. I cried when I got up later because when I woke up, it was like the smell was leaving my room. Yeah, like she was in there. Yeah, that was leaving. And she was leaving the room, and I was like, no, don't go. You know, I'm like, don't leave. It's so much I want to talk to you about. It's so much. You only get those moments. I do believe, Craig. I do believe that when you least expect it, yeah, it's gonna gag you, right? But when you least expect it, it will happen. Because I used to ask my mama in the beginning, because I would see her a lot. Yeah. Like after she died. Yeah. Like after my aunt passed away, I would constantly see her. Yeah. But my mother didn't. Right. For a long time. And I used to say, Mommy. And then she finally saw us. Yes. I said, Mommy, have you talked to her? Have you seen her? Has she came to you? My cousin, again, this weekend, told me her daughter, it's a different cousin. I had 3 cousins in town this weekend and my brother. But my other cousin, she said that her daughter saw my mother. Yeah. So you gotta just, but I feel her when I'm writing. Like when I'm writing this book, it's rare that I sit down to write and I'm not crying. Like I'm in tears. Right. Like writing. And I really feel like this is probably, I feel like this is the best thing that I've ever written. Ever. And I feel like it almost feels like it's outside of me. You know, going back to what I was saying earlier about it's almost like she's on the other side pushing me. You know, but this doesn't feel like something that I am personally writing. So I'm constantly hitting save as I'm writing things. You know what I mean? And like some of the tears are because I'm remembering her. Some of the tears are gratitude that I got through certain moments with her. And then also gratitude that the gift, I finally understand and believe that writing is a gift. I didn't always think that it was a gift. I always used to think that singing is a gift, dancing, you know what I mean? Those kinds of things. But so sometimes the tears are about the gift, and I'm grateful that God gave me the gift and the ability to be able to write and communicate by choosing the words that I choose and the words that I use to write, to communicate, because I understand that people are going to get it. So like sometimes when I'm writing, it's like tears because I know that whenever this book is finally released, I feel like people are going to, especially people who have lost somebody, because I don't know if you can really communicate to people if you haven't lost someone. I've lost people before, but this is the closest. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? This is the closest. Yeah. So I think I can communicate it in a way, you know, for people who have experienced that. Because it's a different society. It's a different community of us who have lost their mother. That's something you can never really articulate to people. You know what I mean? And I've had friends who lost their mother as young as, I remember being in high school. and having friends who lost their mother, or middle school who lost their mother, and I didn't really understand it. But now I understand it, and my heart goes out to anybody who loses their mom at an early age. Because losing my mother at 48, I'm 49 now, but losing my mother at 48, I still wasn't prepared. I still felt like I didn't have enough time. So just imagine someone losing their mom at 13.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's one of those. It's a small community of people who really understand what that looks and feels like. It's not something you can really describe to people who haven't experienced it.
I don't think you're ever going to be prepared.
No, you're not.
Like even if you're like 89 and your mom is 120, and you feel like, oh yeah, she's
You could have had more time.
yeah, you're still going to want to.
Yeah.
And I think as people, we never want those times to end. You know,
Unless they're really sick and you like, I don't want to see them suffering. Like you ask God to, let them escape their body.
Yeah.
I need my glass.
Yeah.
And like as I was saying,
It still hurts.
it does.
it does.
And it was like I've had friends that I had to reach out to one of my friends and say, she lost her mom like years ago. And I said to her, I don't think I was there enough for you when you lost your mom. I said, I remember calling you and saying, hey, I'm sorry to hear about your mom. But I think that sometimes, because we don't know really what to say to people, sometimes we avoid them. And sometimes they feel really lost and alone and isolated, because if you're avoiding them, other people are avoiding them too, because they don't really know what to say. And so sometimes it can be really lonely. And I said to her, I don't think I was there for you enough. And she was like, yeah. And I said, yeah, I'm sorry about that. I didn't know. You don't really understand the gravity of losing your mother. Like, you just don't. If you're close to your mom, if you have a relationship with your mom, I know that there are people who don't have that relationship with their mom. But if you have that relationship with your mom, it's a different kind of feeling. And one of the things that I say in this book is, she left me with my dad. I have a sister and a brother. I have nieces and nephews, great nieces and nephews.
So you a great aunt? Tia? I'm a Tia too, girl.
But nobody can really replace that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you still feel a little vacant. I don't feel lonely, but you still feel vacant, like without them, without her.
One day when you cross over your nieces and nephews, they're gonna smell you too. Smell your nephew pussy.
Right. Y'all, we've been on for 5 hours. Goodbye.
Yeah, we gone, because I need some more of that spaghetti.
Okay.
That shit was tasty.
I think I'm going to go home and right.
It would.
Go home and write, Craig.
Right.
Listen, we'll see y'all in a couple of days. We'll try to see y'all before we leave.
Yeah, we can before we go to LA.
Probably like Wednesday, maybe. Wednesday. I can't do it Thursday because I think I gotta leave Thursday.
I'm leaving Thursday.
Yes, so probably like Wednesday.
Well, I'm getting my hair cut on Wednesday evening.
Girl, I mean,
we could do it in the morning.
I mean, girl,
I just got to be at my appointment
if Mo could get up at 9 a.m.
It's not when he gets up, it's when he gets here.
Listen, then when he gets here, and it's also when he has to understand, leave those other jobs for me. Listen, I'm polyandry. I don't worry about that your other wives, but when I call you, it's my time. I'm polyandry. I don't give a fuck about what y'all doing over there. When I call, hey, I know what I was gonna say. When the queen comes in town, everything shuts down.
Really?
Yes. I ain't got time for that.
If you are in LA, here are the details for the show. This is an NASM event to benefit the T.S. Madison Starter House.
Yes.
This is for their conference, so you would want to visit.
Sponsored in part by Pure for everyone. Pure
Yeah.
for all.
Yeah. Their web link is scrolling at the bottom. find out information about the conference. And listen, those of you who signed up for Pay for Your Say last week, some of them have already been placed in studies, okay? They've already been placed in studies. They're already making their money. Put that Fag Talk 125 down there, Mo. You want to visit www.paydforyoursay, there it is, paydforyoursay.com. Fag Talk 125. Now listen, don't be talking about you in the bind. We about to go to war, niece. We about to go to war, niece.
You pay for your say by the time we go to war.
No, you'll always be able to do Pay for Your Say, but you may not have no job.
Baby, you can go to your mom.
That's right. And on that note, you guys have an amazing night. They'll be emailing us talking about, well, can you help me if I pay for your sake 3 months from now? Get it in now while you got 125. You can pay, right? You can pay with Klarna. That's right. They'll be emailing us later talking about you in the bind and right.
Okay, you said to get you a bomb shelter, girl. Your president called in.
That's that extra stream of income you've been asking for.
Right. So get over there and pay listen, cash your check and put it in the safe that you buy. Honey,
that's right.
The wall, bro.
A fireproof safe.
Fireproof. Honey, get you because honey, when the bomb drops, you should be able to reach up here for some cash.
You dropped the bomb on me, baby. Bye. Good night.
Quit talking and listen. Get over to my Patreon right now so that you can receive exclusive content from the TS herself. Who you said? The TS. Patreon is filled with.
Let me get my glasses, bitch.
Exclusive content.
Simplify inventory and scale your business with Katana Cloud Inventory. Checkers and Rally's $4 unbeatable meal deal changes everything. Your choice of sandwich plus fries, drink, and
I think my main thing with this is, like you said earlier, when I was really going through it, I didn't talk about it, and I've had 4 cars people say. So my point is, for the people who were in that comment saying,
They're not being repossessed now, bitch.
no.
Not those luxury vehicles. Stop this.
No, man.
Or those Rolexes. Stop it.
No, man.
Or those diamond keychains. Stop this. Or those real diamond canary yellow earrings. Stop this. That'll take care of the double wide down there.
You talking about the icons?
No. I'm talking about a double about any double wide.
The only double wide I know about is the ones the icons live in.
Girl, you was trying to terrorize those girls. Stop this, bro.
I thought that's what you were talking about when you said double wide.
No, there's a girl here that has a double wide.
Yeah. Happy icons.
Nice siding. Did you see me Simone get in the bed with the baby too? Oh, you didn't see that?
She always has a and she said to me, if you go do something, you work with marriage and not marry you. Or he said, no, well, they take us.
Yeah. You know, she's never been funny to me.
They can tell
I've never found this.
every time you look up, she's embroiled in some sort of a scandal.
And then she had on those shorts. Crystal girls.
Yeah, the Crystal's girl,
The Crystal girl, the stage girl.
Yeah.
It was.
Whoa, wait. I don't never get into that.
I don't know. I've never found her to be like a funny.
Where did she come from? Was she on like a reality show?
I mean, you know, she was on
Instagram or something.
No, she started off on Instagram. I think she used to do, you know, that the other comedian, Desi.
Oh, yeah.
Desi Banks. I know she used to do a lot of
With him.
She's
a comedian?
Desi Banks.
Comedian. Okay. Everybody has to say, I don't care. I can't do that. I have a transgender woman.
So you're challenging his title as a self-proclaimed comedian.
No, that's his identity. I would respect it. I respect that you was on Walling Out. Okay, see, I never really got into Walling Out. I really thought that was funny.
You thought it was? No, first of all, you were not a kid when that came out. You were not a kid. That's not a kid.
Oh, she's naturally funny?
Who said that? Oh.
Can we do a one gotta go with the list of all the funny people?
I gotta make it though.
Yeah, okay. I like that. Tiffany Haddish.
Can it be male and female, or you just want female and one female?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Together. Okay. No, I want to talk. Let's talk about it. Yeah, and we'll write it.
Yeah.
Also, be slow.
Okay.
Can I see that video? And Pretty B, Tiffany Haddish, B Simone.
Basically, when you go today, if they had a
Fuck no.
just hilarious.
Just hilarious. All right, so that's 4. All right. No, the man's like, country, this is
Okay, well, I don't even know what to say to that. I don't.
Damn, Chrissy Wayne, Desi Wayne. That other boy, now, what's his name? That be doing that little food show? He black. And he just sold it for
What's the one whose baby's mother? What's the one whose baby mother died and they had all those children? Yes. What about him? DC Young Fly. Who? DC Young Fly? Who?
I only seen the 85 Top Show.
Okay, well we're gonna put him in there.
And what was the other man?
The other guy that was with him on that show.
Country Wayne? No,
We got Country Wayne.
King Bob.
No,
They said King Bob, Drewski.
Funny Marco.
yes, Funny Marco. Put that in there. Just said it. Right.
Now, speaking of funny, you know who I would want to hug? Who's funny?
We'll get to that.
Is that Calvin Grimes.
What's that?
Other baby wanted to
In the grocery store. That nigga funny, but he's sexy to me. I just sent it to Mo.
We weren't done, Craig.
Oh, I thought we were doing 4 and 4. We can do another set.
We missed Drewski.
Okay, Drewski.
Okay.
Are we just doing the straights?
Yeah, let's stick with the straights right now. Because I'm like,
Okay, so we're doing our second set of males right now. Drewski. Okay. Who else?
because I purposely go around. Like when I see them stuff, I'm like, oh god, it's some. I immediately said this is some nigga shit. No,
Text it to me. Let me see.
don't do that. You should stop this.
I don't know what you
We're
said.
doing heterosexual people. Corey Holcomb.
Chicha, who did you say?
He said Michael Black.
I think Michael Blackson is funny. I talked to him off the plane when the last time we was in LA.
Oh, bro.
Chicha, text me now. I want to know.
Great, I'm thinking right now.
See, well, I would just do this.
They're saying Gary Owens.
We're doing black people. No, just playing. What about Gary Owens? Is Gary?
Okay, this is the second list.
Yeah, this is the second list.
Okay, well then, if we put Gary on, we got to put Gary Owen, Kevin Hart.
That's what I'm saying, because I think Gary Owens is above them.
Yeah, above them.
His career.
Gary Owen, Kevin Hart.
Gary Owens, Kevin Hart. Oh, another one that's really big in there is Kevin Hart. Gary Owens ain't really big.
D.L. Hughley.
So then that's 5. D.L. Hughley. So we're gonna do 6 in this category.
This is Steve Harvey Cowboys. Yeah, they said Steve Harvey, Bill Burr, Chris Rock.
Oh, y'all going too high.
Yeah, that's too high now.
when Bernice Jenkins
That's
comes
the
out.
only time he's funny.
He's funny when he gets nah, the kid when he does the little Daryl. I thought little Daryl ain't got no power like Bernice.
That Bernice Jenkins, we know him because of Bernice.
Oh, yeah, I'm so scared. Sure, I'm trembling.
Oh, you did.
Hello.
See you in court, moron.
We used to die off of there. Benji Brown. I was gonna jump on Benji Brown one night in Fort Lauderdale. I was gonna kick Benji Brown in his throat, bitch, one night in Fort Lauderdale. Years. This was years ago in Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah.
Cause he had picked me and Miss Lisa out the crowd, girl, was tearing us up. I was tearing his ass back up too. In what you call it. And so we was leaving out of the club. He said, I was coming out, so he tried to dap me up. I said, bitch, do you understand, bitch? I'll give you a 2-piece right here, this motherfucking no pussy ass fuck nigga. Ooh. He was like, no, man, I just was joking. Like, no, he said it was just joking. I said, I ain't joking. I'll put this white clog in your ass, bitch.
And who was this?
Benji Brown. We ended up being cool after that. Like,
Right.
afterwards, like we chopped it up. Like we chopped it up afterwards. I need 30 seconds, please.
More rewards, more savings, more special offers. That's what new Fuel Rewards members get at Shell. Join to save 10 cents per gallon on your first fill, 20 cents per gallon on the second, and 30 cents per gallon on the third. Join today.
Stuck with damaged hair? Think again. K18's groundbreaking molecular repair hair mask turns back the clock. This viral mask is created with patented K18 peptide biotech that repairs damage at the molecular level from bleach, color, chemical surfaces, and heat. To restore elasticity, rescue breakage and split ends, and bring curl.
That's all I needed. Mm-hmm. So we friends now. Be cool.
She thought you were gonna text me tonight.
I'm not. No, everybody get little bitches like us. Craig don't know how to control it. Okay, I don't.
No, I'm not gonna say it.
I don't want to do here.
I'm not gonna say it.
Them the main ones to me. I like the spicy suya boy because they got an African here. Ah. Ah. And they my friend. Spicy suya. Ah. Hey.
Kenny said, how many damn chips are in that bag?
And well, that's the big man.
Right.
Diamond Style, you say spicy suya fine. Listen, that's my
Diamond
bitch.
is,
That's my bitch. Yeah.
yes, we never did that story. Remember, Diamond, you had posted like a little, I guess it was like a little behind the scenes of a documentary you were doing. And we had talked, this was months and months ago, and we were sort of put it on the show, but we probably had a break, and because I thought it was so fascinating. And we had exchanged it. We sort of put it on here, but like I said, I think we.
I listen. I really. Diamond lives in Texas, so they live in Texas, whatever. And I called Diamond about the king spicy. I be like, girl, you ain't got over there cut. You went over there got you piece of the spicy. That spicy soup you get, girl. Mm-hmm. You went over there got you piece of that big. He got that lazy eye, like a Nigerian lazy eye. He do more.
Nigerians have lazy eyes?
Yeah.
All of them?
This is a blanket statement, but majority. It's a lazy.
Turn around, look at me.
I don't have a lazy eye.
Turn all the way around.
No, you don't have a lazy eye, but you're American. You got a passport to go to Nigeria.
Because you were born
Both my parents are Nigerian, though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because you were born in the States.
so because I was born in the States, I don't have a lazy eye. It's something like that.
Yeah.
When you got up here, you got on this soil.
The ancestors that died in the ocean, the Atlantic Ocean,
They have a little lazy eye.
you.
They bless your parents if they were coming over the ocean.
So you're telling me the ones that come from over there, they got a lady?
Oh, I know. I see them. I'd be like,
You stereotype. Y'all stereotype.
nah, but you
Y'all
listen.
stereotype.
Nah, it's those church shoes that give y'all the money. Those church shoes with everything. Those Stacey Adams and white sweat socks. Those Stacey Adams and Mo will have on a white sweat sock at a live show in a minute. He'll have on his dashiki, bitch. Those Stacey Adams with everything. Hard bottom shit on the uniform. They all got a white sweat sock that you can wear for the night.
Yeah. Or open toe shoe. And it's the shape of their toes that I can tell.
Open toe sandals.
It's the toe shape too.
See it.
Like their bubble toe.
You there?
Yeah, you're not from here. You remember?
Hi.
I can tell them their gums and their teeth.
Yeah.
Can you tell? A lot of us sit here, we want their gums and their teeth.
No, most American. But you can't get both. A little bit. You can't get both. Nah, I ain't think you was Jamaican. I knew you was African.
How did you know I was African?
Oh, I know. How? Just like you know I was a male. I knew you were African. Just like you know I was born male. I knew you were African. I'd like for you to know that.
Somebody in the comments don't like the way I said that about the demo. Can you tell from like,
Just like you can tell some of the English by their teeth. You know those girls, those British girls?
hey London,
It's no shame.
y'all know y'all got some fucked up teeth over there.
They're just signatures,
I'm
bitch.
gonna tell you one thing about that. They'll fly off the turkey bitch in a minute. Get them some fake teeth.
They better not find out.
Not in that direction.
They better sit down.
Bitch.
Everybody going over. Y'all, listen, y'all girls are scared to go to get y'all body done in Turkey. Y'all better postpone that.
Okay.
Y'all better get y'all money, but y'all better get y'all deposits back, girl. Don't do it to yourself. Don't do it to yourself. Yes, and y'all Nigerians have like this high booty, or y'all have big booties. You ain't got to. You be a little slew-footed, a little bit. I know. I see him. I'm like, oh yeah.
Look at that corner down here. That's the best part. That corner.
We talking about that corner. We talking about that corner of the earth, the African corner. Just like I know when people are from different regions of Africa, like Somalians and Ethiopians. I know immediately, like when I run into people that are Ethiopian, I'm like, you're from Ethiopia?
Mhm.
Like, yeah, how'd you know?
Yeah.
I'm like, I know. The skin,
That's right.
the texture of the skin is different. The hair and the forehead.
And the forehead.
No shade.
So, that's right. So like whoever that was that got cracked, and I said about the dental, it's not the dental from certain regions.
The foreheads but I do think that Ethiopians are very beautiful people. And very beautiful. The skin tone is even in their culture, the skin tone, the brown skin tone and the darker skin tone are both beautiful, but they're both it's a unique darkness.
Yeah.
Like that Sudanese girl that we have.
Yes.
Her darkness is a unique type of dark. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
No, Mo is American black. Mo has American black.
He ain't been out there in that Nigerian sun long enough.
He has American black. Mo in black. He has American black. I do know all this because my friend has African black, Liberian black. I knew. I was like,
Now what do you know about Indian people? The Patels.
oh,
Yeah. How can you tell them?
Sensitive skin? Meet your match with our most moisturizing formula ever. Creamy lather and ultra gentle care. For 24-hour lotion soft skin straight from the shower, try new Dove Body Wash, the #1 dermatologist recommended brand.
Life after student debt is within reach. Refi the best fi outcome. You can save thousands and get to your goals faster. So fun. Get your money right.
No, but they do.
That's not always true. Don't do that.
Not always. Well, let you go into a 7-Eleven.
Well, listen, here's the thing about it. There are trans girls that be listed in the motherfucker.
You better know it.
Don't do that. We said that, but I don't give a fuck what culture they from. This is trans girl that be listed in the motherfucker. I'm like, girl, you're not. Damn. Damn.
Right.
You need an extra degree. Now, you got all this hair going on and you don't have stain. This way, y'all need to gay mamas. You need gay mamas to get up under there and tell you, baby girl.
Somebody said smell like Korean armpits.
Yeah, I don't. That's not true.
So you said all the Nigerians got cross eyes, but the Patels don't think?
Well, I said a lot of Nigerians have a low eye.
Well, a lot of the Patels stink.
Okay, well, that's your experience?
Yeah, absolutely.
Where did you experience this
At the gym last week.
So how many?
Two of them had walked past me. Bitch, I
So
was
it was
passed out.
so two of them.
One was on this side, one was on that side. I got caught up in the tail.
So two of them made you know that all of them.
Well, that was just the most recent experience. I didn't say that was the only experience. That was the most recent. Well,
So two of them this week,
last week,
made you say
they're Georgia Tech students.
is that crossover exchange students?
I don't know if they may be born here, but they're working. They're students over there at the Georgia Tech.
So what's
Which is an
synonymous?
engineer
So
school.
what's synonymous to American blacks that I'd like to know? What's synonymous to us?
In terms of what? Smell?
Yeah. What's synonymous to us? Is it just chicken and watermelon?
Well, I only eat watermelon.
Is it chicken and watermelon?
Well, it's hog mugs and chitlins.
Pig's feet. Now I don't eat no motherfucking chitlins, bitch.
Your daughter eats.
I will have a hawk mug.
Oh, okay. Well, you're in the family. We are a family, like a giant tree.
Fried chicken. Yeah, cocoa butter.
Yeah, Vaseline.
Vidya. Baking soda.
Baking soda.
Yeah, I remember. What you remember? You're not American black. What you remember?
You used to use that to brush our teeth? Y'all never used baking soda to brush
Oh,
our
y'all were really poor.
Oh. Sorry,
no, we
sweetie.
didn't use baking soda.
We had toothpaste.
We had toothpaste.
But that's for whitening, you're saying? We didn't.
No, that was the only thing they had.
No, that was for whitening.
Well, why do you talk about the baking soda?
That's for whitening, Craig.
I've been to some houses before.
Oh, so you had some really poor friends.
Craig, that's for whitening.
No, he said that's all they had. It was one or the other.
Craig, that's for whitening.
It does whiten your teeth, but that was because they didn't have any alternative. So these people, when you went into their house, they had to wet the toothbrush and they had to dab it in the box.
And these were black Americans.
So these were Africans.
They weren't Africans. So these were black Americans that you knew. Yeah. They had baking soda for toothpaste. Yeah. They didn't have they didn't have baking soda and toothpaste. They had one or the other.
They had the Arm & Hammer box.
Yeah. So these were poor.
Poor.
I'm not saying that. That's not what I'm saying.
Well, that's what you're saying.
So
why didn't they just buy toothpaste? I mean,
hold on, Craig. Hold on.
I was a kid. I didn't know.
No, hold on. I need to. So, as an African, what are things that are synonymous to black American people that you know?
You just gave us baking soda.
You just gave us baking soda for toothpaste.
Which isn't true.
Yes, Craig. I knew what he was talking about.
I knew he was talking about too, but he said that's all they had.
Well, maybe those black people that he knew.
Okay.
Come on, African. Tell us about us. And you listen, and you can go as racist as you need to.
That's right. We're
Go
in
ahead.
the section of the show.
Go ahead. We'd like to know what you Africans think about us.
It's not. Don't do that.
Go ahead.
It's not about what we think. It's just what you might see.
Go ahead. What have you seen?
What's your perception?
Yeah, we're ready. We can handle this.
Let me see.
Now they may not be able to,
Right.
but we can.
We can handle this. But go ahead. We're black and American.
Let me.
Derek Brooks said, "Oh, it's a trap."
No, you guys have already said some of like the kidney. Like,
We don't need all these disclaimers.
No, we don't.
I'm trying to come up with some.
We'll keep you safe.
So y'all know y'all mentioned something.
Your blackness will keep you safe here.
The kidney, hot sauce.
But
I know African Americans love hot sauce. I love hot sauce.
you can say you blacks. It's okay.
Go ahead and say Ebonics. I know you want to say it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. Ebonics is a big one. Let me see. We are Kool-Aid.
Oh,
Kool-Aid.
guilty.
Let me see.
Well, your mother and father are African. They've laid us out. Go ahead and let's see what the conversations have been.
No. Those are conversations.
Well, we'd like to know.
So, go ahead. They'll say something like, loud.
High blood pressure, diabetes.
Yeah.
Okay. Guilty for one. Well, guilty for two. No, I don't have that.
Let me see.
High blood pressure, yeah.
The ghetto part comes into play too.
We are ghetto.
So Africans not ghetto?
Oh, we'll get to what we say about them. We're just waiting.
You always say what you say about us.
Oh, no. We've seen those shanty towns you all live in.
Don't do that.
We've seen those shanty towns.
I can't even say that because I used to live in those.
Okay.
I used to live in those neighborhoods.
Well, you know. Go ahead.
Oh no, let me see. I have heard, well, you do. No, because they say that about African people. So
They said we're loud,
yes.
ghetto, Ebonics,
I
lazy.
have heard that.
Yeah, you would hear that because most African
What
people
about uneducated?
dumb,
No, I wouldn't say that.
You said lazy.
lazy.
Yeah, because I'll honestly say from the people that I've talked to, they've never said like African Americans. They'll say lazy because they'll say that they have the attributes to do great things as a whole, but things don't come to fruition.
It's so interesting because all of the things that we've done in this country came to fruition. And all of the benefits that the immigrants have are because we weren't lazy.
Well, no, we're not talking about.
You mean the African immigrants?
All immigrants benefit.
We're talking about the
Well,
we'll call it lazy, right? And they're dumb.
Please believe the Asian immigrants say their things too about us.
But we're not.
We're not talking about what those the people in the past have done. We're talking about
Fuck that.
Guys, Fred Clayton, CNN, Tehran. Joining us now is CNN military analyst, retired U.S. Air Force Colonel Cedric Leighton. First, I want to ask, Cedric, your read of what's happening right now, because by the president's math, and let's be frank, the tweet announcing the ceasefire involves some math, the number of hours after which it was going to take place and who was going to start and who was going to come second. Regardless, it was supposed to take effect at midnight. There has now been a strike within minutes of that midnight deadline, though prior, in southern Israel that has claimed the lives of at least 3 Israelis at this point. Does the ceasefire hold in those circumstances?
Jim, it could. I guess technically that strike occurred just before the ceasefire deadline, so there would be no direct reason from that standpoint to break things off. But the very fact that there was such an aggressive action and that 3 people were killed, of course, could change things very quickly. So it's possible that it won't hold, but I think at this particular point in time, we just have to see what the Israelis end up doing, and of course, if they do something, what the Iranians do in response. So it's one of those situations where it could go either way, basically.
Now, typically in a ceasefire, there is communication about the ground rules. What we're working off now is a tweet from the president, or a post to Truth Social, a statement from Iranian state media saying that they are going to join the ceasefire as well. We have not, though, heard public comment from Israeli officials. What's the significance of that?
Well, that is extremely significant because that may indicate that the Israelis may not be following the guidelines of the ceasefire, of the supposed ceasefire. But you're absolutely right. Under normal circumstances, there are some ground rules that are set up. There's a very intricate process in some cases where they have a demarcation line. If there are troops in contact, in this case, there won't be troops in contact. But what they would say is, as of this point in time, you won't fly over our territory, and the other side won't send missiles and rockets and drones in the other direction. So those are the kinds of things that should have been agreed to. We don't know whether or not there were any type of ground rules like that set up. But it sounds like this was very quickly done, and there might be some really ad hoc rules, if you will, put into place here. And there might not be a sufficient series of rules to keep this viable. There's also no, as far as I can tell, at least no enforcement mechanism for any of this, and that's a significant shortfall, I would say.
Before you go, why? What's our best sense as to why the parties would sign on to a ceasefire now? It strikes me that Israel's gotten a lot of what it wanted. One, to do serious damage to Iran's nuclear program, along with U.S. strikes to nuclear sites, and extreme damage to missile installations, drone production facilities, you name it, as well as early warning systems. Iran might be calculating that it needs a pause, right? It needs a breather after suffering that damage. Do those dynamics point to the possibility that perhaps a ceasefire holds, that Israel believes it has a win, something of win, and Iran needs a breather?
Well, that is possible. Of course, the Iranians are going to do something to couch what they've done as somewhat of a victory so that they can sell it to their public. But I think when you look at it in an objective way, it becomes pretty clear that the Israelis have achieved a lot of their goals, a lot of their, in essence, war aims that they set out to accomplish. They have basically decimated the entire air defense structure of Iran, and on the western side of the country at least. They have rendered basically inoperable a lot of the air force of the Islamic Republic, and they have, in essence, proven that they can create air supremacy, at least, if not air dominance, over a large portion of Iran. So those are significant things. And then the other thing that the Israelis did was they accomplished a goal that they had for a very long time, and that is to get the United States to come in on their side to eliminate, or at least ostensibly eliminate, the nuclear structures that Iran set up, especially the Fordo plant there, the Fordo installation. So that's a significant aspect. So in that sense, it's very possible that it will hold at least for a while, because these aims have been achieved on Israel's side, and the Iranians, they basically need that opportunity to regroup and figure out what they're going to do next.
That's a great point. Israel has been pushing the U.S. to join in strikes on Iran's nuclear program for some time. Senator Clayton, thanks so much. We continue to track the latest developments in the Middle East. Israel says Iran has still been launching deadly missile attacks hours after President Trump announced a ceasefire agreement. We're going to have the latest on the conflict. That's the scene right there of a missile strike, Iranian missile strike in southern Israel. Plus, a partisan divide here in the U.S. as questions mount over just how much damage the U.S. and Israel have done to Iran's nuclear program.
July 4th, join CNN for coast-to-coast fireworks and musical performances by Noah Khan, Lainey Wilson, George Bentley, Sting, Nelly, and many more. Celebrate the 4th in America, live July 4th at 7 on CNN.
It's a crocodile. I know what it is. Just help me make sure I don't snack. You should try wonderful pistachios. They're tasty and healthy. Pistachios, huh?
Jeff,
Yeah, Stanley.
I did not think this through.
The recipe for a long, healthy life? It starts with gently cooking our food to give your dog the nutrients they need without the ultra-processing. Get 50% off your first box only at thefarmersdog.com.
Exhaustipated. When you're tired of your backed up gut and you need fast relief. New Mirafast works naturally with your body in as little as 30 minutes. New Mirafast acts faster, works gently.
Here I am, field trip chaperone. Before preventing migraine with Qulipta, it was hard keeping plans. And look at me now. You'll never truly forget migraine, but Qulipta reduces attacks, making more zero migraine days possible.
Don't take if allergic. Stop taking and get help right away for allergic reactions like trouble breathing, face, lip, or tongue swelling, itching, or rash. Tell your doctor about increased blood pressure or color changes, pain, or numbness in fingers or toes.
Learn how Appy can help you save. Qulipta. But forget you get migraine medicine.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
Oh, jeez.
Okay. So, are you ready? This should be pretty easy. I've kept it simple since you all seem pretty simple in a good way. In a good way. In a good straight ahead, low IQ kind of. Oh no, let's just stop it. It's the new meds.
To a nuclear weapon.
Okay, armed robbery.
I knew when the president said it was obliterated, it is the hyperbole.
Go in well armed. Some of you will do crowd control. The vault team will go downstairs, blow the first vault door with the thermal charges, then use the card to get into the network and open the second vault door. And then look out, because you'll have about 2 minutes before every cop in town is waiting for you outside the bank.
My next guest is a nuclear expert. Rhea
You get on the bike,
Bujurian is a senior research associate at Harvard
the
Kennedy School of
rendezvous
Business.
point.
Thanks so much for joining.
Good luck, people. Nothing can go wrong.
Thank you for having me.
All good.
It's difficult for any of us from where we're sitting to know for certain the extent of the damage to Iran's nuclear program. And it seems to be clear that both the U.S. and Israel are still conducting their own assessments of that. But based on what you know and have seen of the satellite photos, the extent and number of targets hit, is it reasonable, is the president's assessment that the program has been obliterated backed up by the facts?
Well, Jim, as you mentioned, we don't know the facts fully. I think what is fair to say is that the Iranian nuclear program has been seriously degraded. Whether it has been obliterated or somehow damaged irreversibly remains to be seen. We do know that Iran has been working very actively to build a very extensive tunnel system, not just at the Fordo facility that is much talked about and that has been hit by the U.S. strikes of these, massive ordnance penetrators, these 30,000-pound bombs that were dropped on this facility, but also at Natanz and other facilities that have been hit, but not with the same kind of ordnance. So it is likely that Iran might have moved some of this or all of this material, the 400 kilograms of highly enriched uranium, the 60% uranium, out of the facilities it knew it expected that would be hit and damaged by the strikes, deeper into the mountain. It is also likely that it might have moved some of its centrifuges, the equipment that's used for enrichment, into these deeper tunnels. And that, unfortunately, is very difficult to ascertain when you don't have people on the ground to go in and take a look and take readings of isotopes like the IAEA inspectors have been doing.
We often speak regarding Iran's nuclear program of a breakout period, and the perception had been, the Israeli officials had said the breakout period is the time from which, where they stood today to building an actual nuclear bomb with days. It wasn't clear that was the U.S. assessment, but U.S. officials had often said weeks or months. Is it reasonable to conclude that at a minimum, Iran's breakout period has been extended to months, perhaps years?
That is true, but even, yes, the breakout period has definitely been extended in the life of these operations. But even before that, I think it was very misleading to judge this breakout period in weeks or days as as some leaders have said. What Iran was very close to doing was to 90%, and that is weapons grade enriched uranium. Now, once you've got uranium hexafluoride with this gas that's enriched up to 90%, you still have to convert it into metal. So there's a bit of alchemy happening there. You take gas, you convert it into metal, you make it into pits that then serve as fuel within the nuclear warhead. Not to mention you have to design a nuclear warhead, you have to test the triggering mechanism. You know, to get to a weapon, there's still quite a lot of waste, a lot of time and effort left. So that's not fair to say that Iran is that close to nuclear bombs.
Let's say that significant damage at a minimum to the facilities themselves. The open questions are one, knowledge, right? And yes, Israel did kill several Iranian nuclear scientists, but there are others whose knowledge base has built up over many years there. And then the second piece is the fissile material that Iran has been building for years now, numbering in hundreds of kilograms, 400 kilograms. If you have some of that surviving and the knowledge base, does that mean the program can be resurrected? And could Iran do it itself, or would it need outside help to itself?
So that depends on what exactly has been eliminated and what exactly has been degraded. So there's some centrifuge capacity left that have been moved to safe. There's several cascades of these centrifuges that Iran could presumably resume the enrichment process elsewhere. It also pertains to the kinds of scientists that Israel was able to assassinate. Because not all nuclear scientists are created equal. Some of them closely connected to the work of weaponization. And at this point, I don't know now. I'm not sure if there is information as to exactly what kinds of scientists have been killed in these strikes. If there are the kinds of scientists that work on the weaponization part of the program, then yes, it would be very difficult to replace these people quickly if you need very specialized training to do that. So certainly, sort of the tactical goal of delaying, at least very significantly, the Iranian program has been achieved by these strikes. Now, you know, the adverse effect, however, might be that the resolve, the political will to pursue this program might be firmed up, might actually increase on the part of Iranians and Iranian government, who have become targets of such attacks.
Remarkable events in such a short period of time. Maria Blizzard, thanks so much for joining us and helping us understand.
Thank you.
And we will be right back.
Even the experts didn't have a clue that it was going to work. The head was full of it's going to be a disaster. There's no reason for these human beings to die.
Something went on. That's experience is library with rocket loads around the world. Choose libraries once again.
David trusts Bremerton for his brain, and this is his story. Nice to meet you. My name is David. I've been a pharmacist for 34 years. When I have customers come in, I recommend Bremerton. Number one, because it's safe and effective. It does not require a prescription. And I've been taking it quite a while myself, and I love it when the customers come back in and tell me, David, that really worked so good for me. Makes my day. Bremerton has been the #1 selling brain supplement nationwide for over 10 years.
At Wayfair, we get pretty excited about furniture. Around here, it's not a patio. I love this.
Fantastic.
Wow. My queen.
Yeah.
I'm not the boy.
Oh, you nailed it.
At University of Maryland Global Campus, every week we learn something new. You can immediately just jump right in and use those skills. because of my degree from UMBC, I feel confident to have the background in English.
Friday nights, you bring your A game. Flirty walks, you bring your A game. Bring your A game when taking care of your sexual wellness and include Aperture, a prescription medicine used to reduce the risk of HIV. Aperture helps give you continuous protection when taken every other month. And it's proven superior to once daily PrEP in reducing the risk of HIV.
You must be HIV negative to receive Apertude and get tested before each injection. If you think you are exposed to HIV or have flu-like symptoms, tell your doctor right away. More HIV testing may be needed. Apertude does not prevent other sexually transmitted infections. Practice safer sex to reduce your risk. Get Apertude as scheduled. Missing doses increases your HIV risk. Don't take Apertude if allergic to it or taking certain medicines that may interact. Tell your doctor about your medical conditions, liver problems, and mental health. Serious side effects include allergic reactions or rash, liver problems, and depression. If these occur, get medical help right away. The most common side effect is injection site reaction.
You bring your A game to everything you do. Ask your doctor about Apertude.
Advent Target 3. The only topical pain reliever with 4 powerful pain-fighting ingredients that start working on contact to target tough pain at its source for up to 8 hours of powerful. Advent Target.
Baby back legs. There's a go. Nobody knows.
It was we just put these non-goods in the other room. It's the sleep number 4, which is what I said. Don't miss savings on cooler sleep, ink relief, and all night, every night bundle. It's the lowest price of the season on Price Bundle. Check it out. Sleep Number Store or sleeplumber.com. There are many ways to dress in the bottle of but which is best is the beauty. Sweet and sour, and dare I say, almost friendly.
Gatorade Zero has the #1 proven electrolyte blend with zero sugar, designed to hydrate better than water. So you can lose more sweat and push more limits. Is it in you?
Brutal. Okay, let's talk Korean. And by that I mean bibigo beef bibimbap.
I eat, you read. I like this job. And as you know, weekdays at 7 Eastern. Welcome back up to Washington. Let's take a look at today's President Donald Trump has announced a ceasefire between Israel and Iran. The questions of whether that ceasefire will missile strikes by both countries have continued over the past several hours into the last several minutes. Israeli authorities say 3 people were killed in an Iranian missile struck Lebanon in the city of Beirut. Oil prices are falling to this hour as the planned ceasefire has beyond fears of a disruption in major oil supplies. For what years Iran's closed Strait of Hormuz, which is the opening to the Persian Gulf, through which 20% of the world's oil travels in retaliation for U.S. attacks on its nuclear facilities. As world leaders prepare for the NATO summit in the Netherlands, starts on Tuesday, Russia is further expanding its air across Ukraine. Ukrainian Air Force and Moscow launched over 200 drones and at least 16 missiles over the course of that last day. Officials say those strikes killed at least 17 people, including a child. Story, the newly chosen ceasefire between Israel and Iran. Joining us now is Gary Winowitz, the senior researcher of the Iran and PI Tactics Program at the Institute for National Security Studies, also the former head of Iran research within the Israeli Defense Intelligence. Thanks so much for joining us this evening. So, Gary, what is your best assessment as to whether this ceasefire is a ceasefire? It appears that what Iran did is fire missiles right up to the point, midnight Eastern time, that the ceasefire took effect, and that it took some time for those missiles to then travel from Israel, from Iran to Israel. That's why we're seeing the impacts now.
But now, as I understand it, Israel is not beholden to ceasefire for another 6 hours, during which I imagine it might strike Iran again. I mean, is this a ceasefire only in name?
Well, definitely the Iranians want to say the last word, given the fact that they really suffered tremendously since the war started. They want to make sure that Israel and the international community will understand that actually they didn't capitulate, they didn't surrender. So for them, this barrage of missiles was extremely important to say the last word in this campaign. Now that's of course complex things because obviously Israel will have to retaliate, but then we have to wait and see how and whether this ceasefire will continue. But I think even more importantly, we have to remember that even if this ceasefire would continue, we hope, this does not solve anything. Because at the end of the day, we all know that the Iranians plan to rebuild the facilities, the nuclear one, the conventional one, and without really from the agreement and again, and it's mentioned and declared before. So I think that this ceasefire may be important, but it does solve the problem and the current conflict between Israel and Iran.
Is it clear to you that Israel supports this ceasefire? Because the silence of Israeli officials on this ceasefire is notable. President Trump announced a ceasefire. Even Iranian state media is saying it is now part of the ceasefire. We have not heard any similar official statements from the Israeli side.
Like I said, unfortunately, the Israeli citizen is not the first time. We had the same issues with the previous conflict that we had with Hezbollah and Hamas, that the recent declaration of ceasefire is that for some reason, only themselves is not part of their own nation. So I think that we need to rely on President Trump, understanding that he got the approval from the Israeli cabinet. This is the major problem again, is that I talked about the Israeli that you're not hearing anything regarding all coming from our government. So that's one problem. And I think even more important, again, it's very hard to understand the exit strategy of we had an amazing achievement with the world virtually, but strategically, nobody knows what intent. We talked about regime change, we talked about the Khamenei, that was linked to the ceasefire. And again, I think this is caused by the fact that we have really understand how we can finish this war while preserving our achievements. So I think this is something that we have to tackle in the days and weeks to come. Because at the end of the day, it's what we stand in the next. If you want to do really consistent finance, going to strike that, they will try to do some of the called social box saying what to do to Syria now in Iran. And then the Iranians decided to try to step in the world of people. So again, regardless of whether Israel agrees or not, absolutely they agree. It's not ending the story with Iran, because Iran will.
Does Israel have a sense at this point as to the actual damage to Iran's nuclear program? I know President Trump has claimed it's obliterated. U.S. military officials have said publicly it's too early to say the exact extent of the damage. Does Israel have a better sense of the extent of the damage from its own strikes and from the U.S. strikes?
Well, I think that we have to understand that the one we have in the story and enrichment program that got to that contract. The Iranians had to continue to rebuild it. So yes, we have to say we have a major achievement. Whether with American Airlines, with that from the Brazil, the Latam, the production line behind, the production line, the power line, of course, the decapitating of the factories and the position. This is probably which Iran has against first on the government and serving the government of that. The main problem that we have here is actually the fact that Iran suddenly completed a program, so they will think they can. These are more important to be those who are completely instrumental so assuming that Iran has said that it starts somewhere and then it reached now to 90%, then I'm not sure that all of the achievements were worthwhile. So we have to wait and see to understand where the Iranian nuclear strategy is going. We have to understand also that Iran, beginning the Khamenei, actually decided to build the Gulf. But if Iran was viewed that this is actually everything Iran is running for, then probably they would still have to have something to do with that. So maybe don't see them rushing to a pump with them. We see them rushing to them, so we have to buy them out. It's not constant of saying these brothers going to be for the process. Yes, we have achievements, but I think we should wait for how to really understand that achievements regarding the final question before we go. President Trump is again talking about a peace process here. As you know, just a few days ago, President Trump seems to have admitted to a ruse, claiming that he was invested in peace negotiations while the final separation of this military strike. From the Israeli perspective, are these ingredients for peace negotiations regarding Iran's nuclear program, a more lasting peace? Well, definitely, I don't see a lot of increase. I think it's only going to see the people and it's quite the problem won't be any difference between Israel and Iran as long as the Iranian regime stays. And this is why I expect potential of some of this year. So, but the main problem we have is, as I said before, is the fact that as long as the company something with sanctions with Iran, I don't see any ability to force Iran stopping the whole build-up because otherwise it's found themselves in the war of attrition. The main other question that we have is how it's going to influence other conflicts in the Middle East, like the conflict in Gaza. And here I'm not a very big news. I think there are different lines. I think Israel hoping that weakening Iran will change the Middle East, but I don't see the Saudis are rushing to normalization with Israel without solving the Palestinian issue. The same thing goes to Hamas. So unfortunately, yes, Israel has achievements, but I don't think it changed the Middle East. I don't think there's something dramatic happening. Definitely, I don't see some sort of a peace agreement in the future between Israel and Iran as things stay as it is.
Danny Chernowitz, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Well, in Gaza, health officials say 21 people were killed by Israeli fire while waiting for food at an aid distribution site. Warning, the video we're showing you here is shocking. So the aftermath of the incident took place at a Gaza Humanitarian Foundation distribution center. CNN has reached out to the IDF for comment. The DGHF program, backed by Israel and the U.S., has been mired in controversies, began operating last month. Earlier this month, a CNN investigation pointed to the Israeli military opening fire on crowds of Palestinians as they simply made their way to the site to get food. Sad scene there yet again. And we will be right back with more news.
Celebrate the 4th in America, live July 4th at 7 on CNN.
Hey, great pair of lungs. Shame about your swollen gum. You need parodontax, clinically proven to help reverse all signs of early gum disease. The gum experts.
With powerful, easy-to-use tools, Power E-Trade makes complex trading easier. React to fast-moving markets with dynamic charting, and a future standard that lets you place, flatten, or reverse orders so you won't miss an opportunity. E-Trade from Morgan Stanley.
In a healthy gut garden, balance is key. Benefiber's plant-based prebiotic fiber gently nourishes the gut, working with your body to help you flourish. Grow it feels good with Benefiber. And for 6 grams of fiber with triple skin support, try new Benefiber Superfruits.
Living with chronic migraine? 15 or more headache days a month, each lasting 4 hours or more. And treatment is 4 times a year. So why wait?
Wait till whole team's in the boat and then head out into the ocean.
Botox effects may spread hours to days after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away if swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness can be signs of a life-threatening condition. Those with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Side effects may include allergic reaction, a rash, breathing problems, dizziness, neck and injection site pain, and don't receive Botox if there's a skin infection. Tell your doctor do not agree with muscle and nerve conditions like ALS, myasthenia gravis, or Lambert-Eaton syndrome, and medicines like botulinum toxins, which may increase the risk of serious side effects.
In a survey, 91% of patients wish they'd started Botox sooner. Ask your doctor today. If eligible, you may pay $0.
Discover the power.
In Wegovy, I lost 35 pounds. Some lost over 46 pounds. And I'm keeping the weight off.
Wegovy is the...
You know, I thought you were just a bunch of creepy and quiet weirdos. Turns out You're a bunch of creepy, quiet weirdos with talent. You rob and you steal and destroy like geniuses. Oh, I love it. I love it. Here, let me wire you your money.
Serious side effects may include pancreas inflammation, gallbladder, or severe stomach problems. Call your prescriber if you have any of these symptoms. Wegovy may cause low blood sugar in people with diabetes, especially if you take medicines for it. Call your prescriber if you experience vision changes, heart racing at rest, or any mental changes. Depression or thoughts of suicide may occur. Side effects of nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea can lead to dehydration, which may cause kidney problems.
With Wegovy,
I'm losing weight,
I'm keeping it on.
and I'm lowering my CV risk.
That wasn't you?
Ask your prescriber about Wegovy.
Skinny dipping in the...
Can a personal loan unlock your ambitions? Oh, yeah. Consolidate bad debt and save money for your next goal. SoFi Personal Loans, low fixed rates, borrow up to $100K, no fees required.
Hey folks, Chris Cooney here with Leaf Filter, America's largest gutter and gutter protection company. Leaf Filter has over 150 locations and has been installed on over 1 million homes. We've been protecting homes now for over 20 years. Our patented technology offers total protection for your home and comes with a lifetime transferable warranty. The process is simple. Give us a call to schedule your free gutter inspection. If you decide to move forward with the project, you put nothing down at all. 833 Leaf Filter or visit leaffilter.com today.
Heartburn makes you queasy? Get fast relief with Tums Plus, upset stomach and nausea support, and love food back.
Closed captioning brought to you by Rue La La. Iconic brands up to 70% off retail at RueLaLa.com.
At Rue La La, you never pay full price. Seize the deals on top news before they're gone. Shop RueLaLa.com today.
Marriage is a real opportunity to have a powerful life. What more is there?
Some people want more.
In building the future, nothing can go wrong. Not now.
U.S. lawmakers are divided over the president's actions in the Middle East, while many Republicans continue to show their support. Some leading members of the MAGA movement are openly criticizing the president. Here's a range of reactions from Congress.
What happens in the next few days is going to determine the course of history for the state of Israel and the region for decades to come. To our friends in Israel, finish the job. Do what you have to do to bring about the regime change that will allow your children to sleep through the night. To the American people, wake up. Understand what we're fighting.
Well, I got elected on the exact same campaign promises that President Trump got elected on. We promised no more foreign wars, no more regime change. We promised an America First agenda where we're solving Americans' problems and trying to claw our way out of this $37 trillion debt. And I've been very vocal. We don't belong in foreign wars. This is not our war, and it's perfectly okay for me to say that.
I believe that a president bombing and bringing this country into direct conflict with another nation state without notifying full notification of Congress, without congressional approval, endangering service members, U.S. military bases, not providing intelligence is reckless. I think the serious decision of entering the United States into direct conflict without any legal approval unconstitutionally is the grave decision that we need to be talking about right now.
Thanks so much for watching this hour. I'm Jim Sciutto in Washington. Our breaking news coverage continues right after a short break.
Billionaire Boys Club premieres Sunday, July 13th on CNN.
The Chevy Equinox is more than an SUV. It's your tour guide and your boxing ring. It's your dugout and your safety check. It's your bedtime, your big time, and your makeout booth, too. It's more than an SUV. It's your Equinox. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Extreme weather in the area. Better stay inside.
Don't let what's happening outside affect how you feel inside. Pella windows are tested against extreme heat, cold, wind, and rain.
Choose Advil Liquid Gels for faster, stronger, and longer-lasting relief than Tylenol. The pain away.
Here I am, field trip chaperone. Before preventing migraine with Qulipta, it was hard keeping plans. And look at me now. You'll never truly forget migraine, but Qulipta reduces attacks, making more zero migraine days possible.
Don't take if allergic. Stop taking and get help right away for allergic reactions like trouble breathing, numbness in fingers or toes.
Learn how AbbVie can help you save. Qulipta, the forget you get migraine medicine.
Upset stomach? Iberogast. Indigestion? Iberogast. Bloating? Iberogast. Thanks to a unique combination of herbs, Iberogast helps relieve 6 digestive symptoms to help you feel better. 6 digestive symptoms, the power of nature. Iberogast.
My lab is full of questions. How do I clean the aioli stain? Use Tide. Do I need to pre-treat guacamole? Oh, it's Tide.
Why do we even buy napkins?
Thankfully, Tide's the answer to almost all of them.
For all of life's laundry questions, it's got to be Tide. Get a limited time offer on bonus packs with 15% more loads free.
No. Is this the episode with the breakup?
Rebo, we can't agree on the house. Y'all need Realtor.com. With over 500,000 new listings every month, you can find the one today. That's it. Better put a key ring on the Realtor.com.
These hands have helped me become a 3-time All-Star. I must protect them. What's up, man? So I wear hands-free Skechers slip-ins. I just step in with no bending down or touching, so my hands can take it easy. Try Skechers slip-ins.
This is Mia. She dreams of taking her boutique swimwear brand nationwide. With her business growing so fast, she needs fast funding to keep making waves. That's why Mia has U.S. Bank Business Essentials, a combination of checking and card payment processing, giving her access to funds typically in 24 hours. Because we love watching her make a splash. That's the power of Mia, and this is the power of us.
Gatorade Zero has the #1 proven electrolyte blend with zero sugar, designed to hydrate better than water. So you can lose more sweat and push more limits. Is it in you?
Style or substance. Somehow, it became one or the other. But there is another choice. Not stopping until you have everything in the GMC Sierra. Or get $2,600 total value on this Sierra 1500 model. Plus, current eligible GMC owners get an additional $3,000 purchase allowance.
Ghirardelli Caramel Waffle Cone Squares. Crunchy waffle cone pieces. Enriched Ghirardelli chocolate with a luscious caramel filling. Treat yourself to Ghirardelli Caramel Waffle Cone Squares. Makes life a bite better.
To understand the world, you need the truth. We witnessed something today that nobody alive has ever seen before. That's why we follow the facts. Wherever they lead, no matter how far we have to go.
This is just house after house of utter devastation.
Every day we witness the world.
There are big devastation.
Every day we witness the world.
There are big explosions taking place.
Or whether there's a military right now looking for any signs of cartel activity.
Following what matters to you.
This is CNN Breaking News. Hello and welcome to our viewers joining us from all over the world. I'm Vidya in Washington. We are following breaking news out of Israel, where President Donald Trump says that Israel and Iran have agreed to a ceasefire. However, details are not clear at this point. Both sides fired missiles at each other leading up to the final minutes of what President Trump indicated the deadline would be, that just over an hour ago. And then came this. Israel says that in the minutes before that deadline, an Iranian missile got through Israeli defenses and struck a residential building in the southern Israeli city of Beersheba, killing at least 3 people. Air raid sirens sounded across multiple cities in Israel.
Oh, well, I'll take it.
Several hours. There were also
We did it, Joe. We did it.
that before the ceasefire was expected to take effect, according to Iranian state media. On Monday, Iran launched an attack on a U.S. airbase in Qatar. No one was killed or injured. A source says that Iran gave Qatar advance warning of the attack to minimize casualties, preserve an off-ramp, and that warning then passed on in the United States. President Trump thanked Iran for the early notice of that strike. Sinaz Nada Bashir has been following the latest developments, and Nada, help me understand our understanding of this ceasefire. Because President Trump, when he announced it by tweet a number of hours ago, said it was going to take effect at midnight Eastern time. We're now an hour past that. And then, but take effect for Iran. And then Israel has another 6 hours. But it seems that Iran was firing missiles right up to the deadline. And of course, those missiles take some time to get to Israel. So missiles were striking after that initial deadline. Are the parties clear here that this ceasefire is now in effect?
Look, at this stage, Jim, there is very little clarity. We haven't been hearing much in the way of official statements from either the Iranian side or the Israeli side. In fact, we haven't heard at all, really, from the Israeli side officially with regard to the exact terms of this claimed ceasefire agreement as reported by the US president. Now, what has also brought into question the timing of this is the statements and messaging we've been hearing from the Iranian side. We've been hearing from Iranian state media suggesting that that ceasefire has now come into effect. We've heard from the Iranian foreign minister saying that Iran was continuing with its military attacks on Israel up until the very last moment, in his words. And what the foreign ministry has also been saying in Iran is that they will only bring an end to their attacks on Israel if there are no further attacks by the Israeli military on Iran past 4 a.m. local. So we are well past it now. It's nearly, or it's past 8 a.m. local time in Iran. So the question is whether we see any further attacks by the Israeli military on Iran, where this agreement stands in terms of the timing, as well as you mentioned, according to that tweet, or rather social media from the US president, that should have come into effect at around 12 a.m. Eastern time. But again, there isn't a huge amount of clarity on those exact precise terms. And as you mentioned, we have seen those Iranian attacks being carried out right up until the last moment. We've seen a deadly attack in the southern Israeli city of Beersheba. At least 4 people are said to have been killed now, according to emergency services. They have updated saying that they were able to rescue a number of people from beneath the rubble of a destroyed building in this particular area. We've been seeing air raid sirens going off over the last 2 hours. We've been now hearing reports of more sirens in the last hour in parts of northern Israel. So there are questions as to what we may continue to see in the next hour in terms of Iran's final attacks, so to speak, on Israel. And again, what sort of response we see from the Israeli side. We are still waiting to hear official statements. We are still waiting to see whether or not there is, in fact, a military response to that latest attack. Of course, 4 people killed, a devastating situation on the ground. We've seen that dramatic video of blasts and the aftermath of people really just looking around at the debris and the destruction around them. So whether this sparks any sort of response from the Israeli military remains to be seen. This is certainly a fragile time if indeed the ceasefire does hold. And again, we are really relying on that messaging and statements from the US president at this stage, who says that he was successful in securing and mediating this ceasefire with support, of course, from Qatari officials who are mediating on the Iranian as well. But again,
Hey, am I wrong in thinking you know your way in and out of an impound lot? I need you to retrieve a car for one of our resident high rollers, preferably without any collateral damage. And I need to have...
action here, I think, is more significant than we've seen a president undertake. Democratic leadership before done really takes this to an entirely new level, but very much, in tune with the kind of the overall approach of second presidency. I doubt it. I mean, I think, Donald Trump, I think in this action, on so many fronts in domestic and international affairs, which is that he feels, and he is governing as if that any of the constraints that he faced in the first term have eroded, if not been obliterated entirely, whether in domestic politics, whether from the Supreme Court, whether from other countries. He is acting as though he believes he is completely unbound and unfettered. And, that is leading him to do things that are bigger swings and bigger risks. And eventually that can come back to haunt him.
Yeah. I mean, listen, the number of things that are happening in such a short period of time, I mean, it's really just hard to keep up with. I wonder, there's been some polling done about what Americans feel about this military action against Iran. It seems that large majorities oppose it. Does that matter in the current environment? I mean, the reason I ask is because this is a president who does feel unrestrained, certainly far less restrained than he did in the first term. Does he listen to that? Does he listen to that kind of criticism and questions?
To the extent he worries about kind of the politics of his actions, I think, like Republicans have been generally for the last 25 years, he's more focused on what it does, what it means for his base than he is for the electorate overall. And obviously there was a lot of resistance to this among many vocal elements of his base. But as you heard him say in the lead up to this action, I am American. I decide what America first means. And he felt confident in his ability to move his coalition in his direction. And in fact, what you saw going in was opposition from a bunch of outside voices, but almost none, except from the usual suspects, kind of the libertarian isolationists in the Republican elected official ranks, right? And there was just basically no one except Thomas Massey or Rand Paul and Marjorie Taylor Greene who raised objection here. And the tip-off, I thought, was an interview Steve Bannon did with the FD of London, where he said before, we'll fight this till the last minute, but if he does it, we will fall in line. And I think that's what Trump expects, worried about, concerned in the broader public. The other thing that's going for him, Jim, is that although there was a lot of unease in the public about the U.S. entering in this broad way, the goal of preventing Iran from obtaining a nuclear weapon had 80% support among Democrats, Republicans, and independents in Chicago Council on Global Affairs polling this spring. So, it isn't as if he defied public opinion to do something the public didn't want. He kind of defied public opinion to do something the public agreed with, and I think that's less inherently dangerous for president.
He took a gamble, right? The gamble being that maybe we could do this military action, do a significant amount of damage and not have a broader war. And at least where we're sitting right now, if possible, at least the gamble might pay off.
We won't know for a long time. Obviously, we don't know what they did with their fissile material. We don't know what it's going to be in terms of terrorism down the road. But that, to me, is the real point. Look at everything Trump has taken office. I mean, he not only pardoned January 6th rioters, he pardoned the ones who attacked police officers. He not only sent the National Guard into L.A. over the objections of a governor, he sent the Marines, the active duty Marines, into an American city. He not only, proposed tariffs on China, but on our closest allies across the board. He is behaving as if he believes all of the constraints he faced in his first term have simply fallen away. He is taking a lot of big risks. And as you say, this one may work out, but when you're taking big risks like that every day, it's hard for all to pay out in your direction. I mean, that's why the people, as they say, why the people who own the casinos own limousines, not the people who gamble there. And that's what he's doing. He's really, as the book said about Reagan, gambling with history day after day after day.
Let me ask you just a non-foreign policy related question. You have this quote-unquote big, beautiful bill attempting to work its way through the Senate, and it looks like it's going to get trimmed down, at least from the House version. Does that get through eventually in some sort of trimmed down form, and the goal is to do so before July 4th?
I don't know about July 4th, but look, the first year of a Republican president, the Republican-controlled Congress, or even a Republican-controlled Congress in practice, they cut taxes. That's what they do. Reagan 81, Bush 01, Trump 17. So in the end, they will hold this bill. And I think that this bill will be the action of Congress that has the most impact on the 2026 election. As I wrote this week, they haven't, it's been 30 years since they did what they are doing in this bill, which is the Gingrich Congress, where they married big spending cuts with big tax cuts into the same bill. And the result is that all of the analysis say that most Americans below the median income will come out net losers from this bill, while the people in the top 10% will come out big winners. I mean, that's kind of, the way Republican economics often work, but it is a different coalition. There are a lot more blue-collar people that the Republicans now depend on to rely on these big social programs that they are cutting, particularly Medicaid and the Affordable Care Act. 16 million people will lose coverage from this bill, the biggest number in any single bill in American history. So it is, again, another major risk, part of this general trend, I think, that we're seeing in Trump's second term.
Yeah, hospitals, too, will be impacted. Some will have to close without that Medicaid funding.
Yeah.
Rob Brownstein, thanks so much.
Thanks for having me, Jim.
We do continue to track the latest developments in the Middle East. Israel says Iran is still launching.
Okay, bring out your phone and search for a Wi-Fi signal we can piggyback on. He's trying not to look too conspicuous while he's doing it.
Play around. You're invited to indulge in an elegant, world-class gaming experience.
Attention all seniors. You cannot get up to $1,000 for your program. Expenses.
That's it, you got it. I'm in the system now.
Starting at less than $1 a day.
So good to see you. How was it?
Amazing as you can train. Happy to see you out of that guy.
He does get that. But my friends love to take over the business. I want to make sure I don't leave anything like this. Heck, if I could have killed him, they found it good.
Don't think about that, baby. We'll find a way.
Now, see, that's why I made a call to talk about the elephant, $50,000 other time.
What's that look like? In the green stuff, huh? It's too much currency, so we'll still need to wander and throw a buyer. We heard, though. Head back to the arcade when you're ready.
I'm glad you made that call. Don't leave loved ones with your debt. Call 800-299-3630 now and see if you qualify for up to $50,000 for your funeral or funeral expenses starting at less than there's no medical exam, and you can be approved even if you have pre-existing health conditions. Your rates can never be increased, your benefits can never be decreased, and your coverage can never be canceled. There's no obligation. Call 800-299-3630 now. There's no paperwork, no hidden fees, and no waiting periods. And you can start coverage right over the phone, starting at less than $1 a day. Call 800-299-3630. That's 800-299-3630. 800-299-3630.
This is CNN. More people get their news from CNN than any other news source.
Another controlled explosion. It's one nurse for this whole area here. He's coming here, flying in. We took a look at it. The most important story of our time. What they mean to us all. It's vital. I share them with you. A very warm welcome to the show, everyone. I'm Lisa Suarez.
Lisa Suarez tonight, today on CNN. The 5 Things Podcast from CNN. Give today's top 5 stories, all in one podcast. The 5 things you need to hear in under 5 minutes. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Under what authority would members of the military be able to arrest people inside the United States? So parents should not expect to know what causes autism by social state. Mr. President, did you ask President Putin to meet with you about Ukraine? Senator, what did the president have to say about Elon Musk during the meeting? Was he frustrated with him? The estimates that say that this bill, if passed, would encourage
This is CNN. In fact, about viewers all over the world, here in Washington, if you're watching CNN, there, coordinated summit in the Netherlands, it's underway. A couple hours, Russia has been carrying attacks across Ukraine. The Ukrainian Air Force says Moscow launched more than 350 drones and 16 missiles in the past 24 hours. Those strikes killed at least 2 people,
He did.
wounded a dozen after one of the missiles hit a school in the southern Odessa region. Russia also continues to target Ukraine's capital. Officials say Russian strikes there killed at least 9 people when a missile hit a 5-story residential building. Kira Rudik joins me now from Kyiv. She is a member of the Ukrainian Parliament. Thanks so much. Good to talk to you again.
Hello, Jim. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for keeping focus on Ukraine. We really need it.
I wonder if you think Russia, with these latest strikes, was deliberately attempting to take advantage of the world's attention being focused on the Middle East right now, assuming perhaps that the U.S. president and others might not pay attention.
That was absolutely 100% their plan. We know that, and moreover, we have been warning all our partners about this, because this is exactly what happened last year with the intensifying situation in the Middle East. There are 2 questions here. First, how is it possible that Russia is still able to increase their attacks and manufacture weapons, given all the sanctions that they have been under for at least the last 3 years, which is again proof that sanctions are not working properly and need to be intensifying. And the second question is, with ramping up these attacks, we definitely need more air defense systems, and we need to get them right now, because it's basically a matter of life and death for our people, and we are not getting that, and we are still in attempts and getting support from the United States, and it doesn't seem to be happening anytime soon.
President Trump, as you know, has repeatedly threatened additional sanctions against Russia, and there was a moment a few weeks ago when he said, well, I'll decide in 2 weeks. Of course, that deadline, if you want to call it that, has passed. In your view, does Russia view that consistent and continuing delay as weakness on the part of the U.S.?
They absolutely do. And I think right now the attention of Russia, Iran, China, and North Korea is at the actions of American president and in the to execute on the threats that he's making. And so I'm absolutely sure that Russia was looking at the delays, trying to say, oh, it's both sides, war, etc., as a plan for themselves to continue terror. Iran was doing that, and other authoritarian regimes as well. So if you continue being the leader of the democratic world, you need to put your actions where your words are. And this is why here on the ground in Ukraine, people are both worried but also actually hopeful with the fact that if there were strong actions by the United States towards Iran, that it gives us some hope that there could be strong actions towards Russia. However, right now, nothing is pointing towards this, and I'm just keeping it for Ukrainian people that think, well, look, the hope is still there. But it's very hard. It is very hard, especially given how people spending more and more time in the bomb shelters, less of normal life. And can you just imagine, like 300 drones with constant explosions in the sky, like not knowing when it's going to end, it's just terrifying, and it is the terror as it is.
As you know, the NATO summit begins today in Europe. Do you expect, do you have hope for any strong statement of support, but also adequate support to Ukraine from NATO? Or do you fear that NATO is becoming divided on the issue of supporting Ukraine?
We are afraid that NATO may go forward some statements which will not be then converted into action. And action is what we are craving for. It's what we are desperately needing here. So no matter what statement we hope that the NATO countries understand the threat and will be able to increase long-term planning and manufacturing of the weapons and supplies that will allow us to kind of live through potential decrease in the support from the United States. Because I think we have been talking a lot about what would happen in Ukraine with, what would happen if Russia stops, but we have not been talking enough of what would happen if Ukraine loses. And I think this is a threat that everybody needs to be counting on. And this is why working not to save Ukraine, but to save itself, to save NATO. I want to remind everyone that NATO's goal was actually to deter the Soviet Union and now for Russia. And Ukraine is the only country that actually is doing that. So what would happen? So what would happen if you fail?
Well, Kira Rudik, I know that given that you live in Kyiv and you've survived your own share of Russian attacks, that you left you out from harrowing. I'm glad you're safe, and I wish you continue safety. Would you continue to follow developments in the Middle East? Iranian and Israeli channels now report that a ceasefire between the two nations has taken effect. President Trump also confirmed that, and just in the last several minutes has been urging the side not to violate the ceasefire. Just hours ago, the president claimed countries that reach out to him, in his words, almost simultaneously about peace. Those comments came to sirens clear. Both sides fired again. Iranian state leader the whole country is moving closer to suspending cooperation with U.S. International Atomic Energy or IAEA. On Monday, the Parliament's National Security Committee approved the outline of a bill to take that step. The Speaker of the Iranian Parliament says they are looking to suspend cooperation until the IAEA provides concrete guarantees regarding its professional and compliance conduct. So it's still going to clear two more bills. Thanks so much for coming on. Give your view of the significance of that allowing Parliament to suspend cooperation against IAEA. What would be the effect?
Well, I think it would definitely be concerning. We already know that despite the strikes that have been conducted over the past few days, including those conducted by the U.S. against border weapons and expand nuclear facilities, we don't know the state of the stockpiles of enriched uranium. We don't know where it's going to put those, and we know that with the lack of cooperation, with the lack of requirements of the IAEA, inside Iran, it would be much more difficult for the international community to assess the state of the uranium program and also identify and verify any kind of diversion or whatnot.
Well, now we're now about the ceasefire, but all the parties have some extended series of victories here, given the damage Iran's nuclear program, but also. However, there's strategic interest here that are lacking. Do you see a ceasefire hold? And if so, for how long? How long is realistic?
It's a good question. I think that the situation remains volatile. I think the escalation between the U.S. and Iran might be basically ending. I don't think it's in neither interest to continue the escalation that we've seen, especially the weekend onward. But I think the tensions between Iran and Israel are likely to continue. The question is, are we going to go back to the kind of very close situation that we had before it started on the 13th of June, or are we going to continue this direct conflict between Israel and Iran in each other's territories continue over the next hours and weeks? I think it very much depends on what's the end goal here and what are the sides. If the focus goes to fail Iran's nuclear engineering capability from the Israeli side, that mission has not really achieved, not completely, obviously, because as I mentioned, we still don't know where some of the nuclear material is, and in fact, we could argue that the recent escalation might give even more an incentive for Iran to move towards the weaponization of its program, given that its deterrent capability, its missiles, its drones, its axis of resistance, proxies that have been in the region for decades now, have proven not to be enough to deter the enemy of Iran from attacking its territory. So I think it's really volatile at the moment, but what we know is that President Trump still would want a ceasefire and definitely an end of the confrontation, at least for now. And until that's the case, there will be some pressure from both sides to go higher.
As you know, for years, the possibility of a U.S. strike on Iran's nuclear program has been discussed in such a way that it would be catastrophic. If it were to happen, there would be war, and the U.S. would be in that war. The President carried out this strike, granted a one-off, as he described it, and without a ceasefire, in effect, and at least for now, not a broader war. Does that surprise you? And does that indicate to you that it's possible gamble paid off?
Okay, now I'm gonna walk you through this. So pay.
The word of the day and competition Sundays. And it's a series of reasons. Thanks so much for joining. And we'll be right back.
I'm going to make your acquaintance.
for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first day. If you drive, you need upside.
Take me to this address. That's where these motherfuckers live.
Plus, you get cash back anytime. Expectations are or driving hundreds of miles every day. Upside is for you. Wait, some
Yo, Seth told me you was working with Lil D. That dude loves his cousin, because he's willing to go to hell and back for him, or in this case, both of them, which is the same thing. You just gotta trust his method, you know? In my experience, that means be ready for some crazy shit to go down. I'll holler back at you later.
Exactly what damage the massive bunker buster bomb took place down in single Iranian and watches midnight in Missouri, a fleet of beaten bombs takes off, approaching heading west of the seaport. Rest. The main strike package comprised of 7 aircraft. Proceeded quietly to the east with minimal.
He done.
Retired Air Force Lieutenant General Steve Basham flew such planes. The stealth aircraft are refueled in flight repeatedly as they cross the Atlantic, which is called Operation Midnight Exit. Crews check every system and review every training of the coming attack, like the schedule every 2 months. They have moved regular facilities and it's almost spread out.
The first operational launch survived success. And the next close bomb releases from the aircraft during the subsequent dropped their weapons. It is thought it's the greatest relief ever. You have a pretty good idea of the weapons hit the ground based on what you're probably doing that they actually went into their target. The bombers hit 2 nuclear sites. 2 dozen Tomahawk missiles from a U.S. submarine slam into a 3rd. It all takes less than a half hour with not one shot fired in the American.
All right. When the time comes, we need to be in and out of the jailhouse fast, with our wheels. So what's the fastest way to get a car into a prison yard? Easy. You still around. Set that shit up just outside the perimeter, and when the time comes,
Intelligence officials are still assessing the full impact of the damage
and they
the
got
Pentagon
just what we
claims
need.
success.
Head over to the
Devastated
address,
the
pick up your
Iranian
stunt ramp,
nuclear
and take it to the prison.
While others
And
with
watch
more
out
than
for security.
125 U.S. aircraft involved are marveling that such a large mission was pulled off in such secrecy against a foe that surely knew it was amazing. Is that not remarkable? Simply put, this all went pretty much the way military leaders wanted it to. Now, political leaders were watching the follow-up development. CNN, Washington. Thanks so much for watching this evening. In Washington, our breaking news coverage continues with my colleague Polo Sandoval right after the short break.
Lunch is on me today. Also, why? I have some extra cash right now. I started using Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy. Wait, are you saying you get real money back when you get I'll make around $200 to $300. Wow. That's extra cash. Right? You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? It's like free money. I'm downloading the free Upside app now. Use this promo code to get an extra 25 cents a gallon cash bonus on your first payment. Thanks.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just for buying the gas you're already buying. Download the free Upside app now. Earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code REPAIR25 for an extra 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank.
Did you download Upside? Yes, of course. I'm not pressing free money. I'm earning real cash back now every time I get gas.
Just download the free Upside app and use promo code REPAIR25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. If you drive, you need Upside. Earn cash back on every cup of gas you buy. Plus, you get cash out anytime. Couple times or driving hundreds of miles every day. Upside is free. Don't wait. I'm making as much as $200 to $300. Download the free Upside app and use promo code REPAIR25 for 25 cents per gallon bonus. That's code REPAIR25 for 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Precise designs, subtle curves, curving depth rates, elevated design, with thoughtful living.
The box and videotapes, film reels, and photos that are degraded. Legacy Box is trying to take it for DVD, thumb drive, or the box. Legacy Box, simple and safe. With over 100 craft like touchable. Visit legacybox.com. What do you mean? Boy, doesn't always come out right.
In a Jurassic world, every seat vehicle is Jurassic rated. Experience open-air freedom club. And adventure all summer long. So if you're looking for a driver, now. Like that.
Join me today that on Mama has ever done. Everyone see it. I'm Kylie Alford at the State Department, and this is CNN. Hey, good morning. All around the world, that's all some of our we're following two major developments right now out of the world. First, the early and Columbus is now saying that the ceasefire is in effect. Did so for several hours now. After announcement late Monday and then last hour from U.S. President Donald Trump, the exact details, even hours later, they're still not clear. Residential buildings gives you a sense of the speed and intensity of the fire. Authorities say at least 5 people have been killed in that fire. More than a dozen others have been treated for life-threatening injuries. Firefighters rescued 3 people from the rubble as search continues to work on widespread satellite. And there are also fresh strikes in Tehran overnight, but before the ceasefire was expected to take effect. Let's bring in Brian Todd live at this hour out of Washington. Brian, good morning to you. What do you know about the ceasefire here, and also some of the differing messaging that we're getting? Good morning, Paulo. Yeah, we have a sign just now of how fragile the ceasefire could be. President Trump making his own appeal to key players to keep up their end of the deal. Just a short time ago, moments ago, President Trump posted this message on Truth Social. Quote, the ceasefire is now in effect. Please do not violate. And he signs off Donald J. Trump, President of the United States. It is going to Iran and Israel both to stick to their end of this bargain. It is a fragile ceasefire. We also have new information on how it got here. New reporting this morning from our colleagues Kylie Atwood, Jennifer Hansel, Olinda Green, Jeff Jones, and Zachary Cohen. They report that President Trump and his national security and diplomatic officials were increased behind the scenes. Local Israel, this was an hour just after Iran launched a missile attack on the U.S. aircraft. That was on Monday. Companies behind the scenes. According to sources who spoke to CNN, the President himself is communicated directly to the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu during his critical hours. And while he was doing that, Vice President J.D. Vance, Secretary of State and National Security Advisor Marco Rubio, and Middle East envoy Witkoff, those 3 were working the Iranian side, communicating with the Iranians through official, direct, and indirect channels to try to broker this ceasefire. The government of Qatar, according to our sources, also was a key player in the video. Talking at one point speaking directly with the Emir of Qatar, Emir Hamid bin Hamad, Hamid bin Hamad, Khalifa Al Thani, Trump again communicated with both the Emir of Qatar and the Israeli Prime Minister while his team communicated with the Iranian side. Now, this morning there is also messaging, specifically the messaging over who is going to really get the credit for this ceasefire. President Trump posted on his social early this morning, quote, Israel and Iran came to me almost simultaneously and said, peace. I knew the time was now. The world and the Middle East are the real winners. Both nations will see tremendous love, peace, and prosperity in their futures. President Trump taking the credit for that, saying that the Iranians and the Israelis came to him, but of course our own reporting saying that it was Trump and his team working furiously behind the scenes to try to broker the ceasefire. And a different message from Tehran this morning. The Iranian state media, one of their news anchors, quoted as saying this, in a begging-like manner of urging, Trump requested the initiation of a ceasefire to impose Zionist enemy of war against our country. So the Iranians claiming that Trump begged them for the ceasefire, Trump claiming that the Iranians and the Israelis came to him for a request, and CNN reporting that it was Trump and his team working behind the scenes. Either way, Polo, we are here now at this critical moment of this ceasefire. The president just moments ago again saying in a post on Truth Social, the ceasefire is now in effect, and appealing to each side not to violate it. Let's hope that in the aftermath of that horrible attack, the Iranian missile attack in Beersheba, Israel, with now 5 people reported dead, that the ceasefire does indeed hold. It is a critical few hours coming up.
Yeah, as you point out, exactly what led to the ceasefire depends on what country you're asking. Brian Todd, thank you so much for breaking it all down for us this morning. Appreciate your reporting. Iran's air defenses remaining active following Donald Trump's ceasefire announcement on Monday. CNN's Fred Flighton is in Tehran, actually filed this report earlier today from the Iranian capital.
What we're seeing right now is extremely intense anti-aircraft fire over the skies of Tehran. If you look through here, you can see the tracer fire going up from those anti-aircraft guns. We've also heard some blasts, but as you can see right now, the skies over the Iranian capital absolutely illuminated with anti-aircraft fire. Now, the Israelis have issued an evacuation order for the part of Tehran where we're seeing that anti-aircraft fire right now. It's unclear whether there's any strikes taking place. We have also heard some thuds seemingly coming from that direction. This comes after a day where we saw intense bombardment here of the Iranian capital, especially central areas of Tehran. Right here in the location that we are, it was an airstrike very close to us that rocked the building that we were in. We took cover, then came back to film the aftermath, and it was a thick plume of smoke in the skies. The Iranians also firing multiple missiles at a U.S. base in Qatar, saying that that was in response for the United States attacking several Iranian nuclear installations. And there again you can see the fire in the skies over Tehran. That is that anti-aircraft burst fire coming from Iranian air defenses, and we've been seeing that happening over the past couple of minutes as clearly they are targeting something that is in the skies. Fred Flighton, CNN, Tehran.
Let's get some analysis now live. Joining us right now is retired Major General Nick Ryan of the Australian Army. He is also the author of The War for Ukraine, Strategy and Adaptation with Fire. General joining us live at this hour. Sir, thank you so much for your time. I'm wondering, just as we're a couple of hours now into this apparent ceasefire, what's your read thus far? It's now 2 hours into the attack.
Well, what we've seen so far is both the Americans and the Iranians have confirmed that they are in a ceasefire. We haven't seen any formal by Israel. Hopefully we will see that. We don't know how long this ceasefire is meant to last, other than President Trump's tweet about it being, an extended ceasefire. And we don't know any background conditions that Iran or Israel have imposed. But hopefully the ceasefire will hold and the negotiations can begin.
What do you make of the Israeli government staying silent thus far after the U.S. president announced it?
Yeah, I think that's very interesting. They were very quick to support the American bomber attacks on the weekend. We're very happy about that. Well, this is the other side of that view, that if America was to come in with a one-and-done bomber raid, clearly President Trump wanted to use this as part of a negotiation. This is part of that, and I think Israel will have to think very carefully about
And as you just pointed out a little while ago, General, there are still a lot of questions about the actual parameters of the ceasefire. If you're looking at it right now from a military perspective and tapping into for peace, what would you expect to see in terms of ground rules in waiting, and perhaps even the enforcement mechanisms that should be in place?
Well, I think you'll see both sides want to pull back from offensive operations, but defensive activities, ensuring their air defence missile batteries are reloaded, these kind of things will be taking place. You'll probably see pretty significant meetings of the military staff in Israel and Iran just to ascertain what military capability is remaining should hostilities recommence. It's uncertain how the US might enforce a ceasefire at this point in time. The US is certainly not going to be putting harsh restrictions on the Israelis, I don't think. But as Trump said, if Iran breaks the ceasefire, he has said that there may be more to follow.
So you got the rep on set?
And he's addressed
My guy will get it where it needs to be.
Given the aggression that we've seen the last couple of weeks, General, I'm wondering if you're as surprised, perhaps, as I am about the back-channeling, if you will, that we've seen ahead of the U.S. intervention that we saw for the weekend, and then yesterday as well, with the Iranians actually reaching out to Qatar, giving them an early heads up, and obviously knowing fully that would eventually make it to the United States as well. Is that normal? Is that typical from a military perspective?
Yeah, I think we've seen it in most of these kind of conflicts. We've seen it before in the Middle East. We've seen it in America's dealings with Russia and Ukraine and the Ukraine war, trying to negotiate some kind of ceasefire in those conflicts. And in the Middle East, what we weren't sure about after the American bombing was whether Iran was going to escalate in a big way or conduct some kind of performative attack, as we saw in Qatar today, which wasn't really designed to inflict any damage, just to say to their own people that they were capable of responding. That's what they've done, and that is within expectations of Iranian behaviour at this point.
Right. Get it out of their system and essentially also present it internally to their own people, as you mentioned. Major General McBrien, really appreciate your time and your expertise.
Thank you.
We're going to continue our breaking news coverage when we return. Still ahead, the latest on the tentative ceasefire between Israel and Iran. And also, Gaza health officials saying that multiple Palestinians are killed while waiting for aid. Details on that incident, that crisis that also continues on the return.
Hi, my name is Peter Elvis. I'm the CEO of Indigo, based out of India. Today, with the growth of India needs airlines which are representing the size and the scale and the opportunity of this country, be it the developments in infrastructure, be it changing of policy. The new airport in Delhi is opening, new airport in Mumbai is opening. So all these parts are extremely important, and we have seen both in the metros as well as in these smaller communities when the government schemes to help these communities connect. Yes, there's competition, like there's competition between United and Delta. We're competing between Indigo and Air India. But there is space for having strong Indian operators. Yes, we compete heavily on the domestic network and even international. That's perfectly fine. Competition will all make it better, sharper, and making sure that we keep running hard.
Attention all seniors, you can now get up to $50,000 for your funeral and other final expenses, including your credit card debt, with no medical exam, starting at less than $1 a day.
Great. So good to see you. How was everything?
Amazing as usual, Frank. Happy to see you out of the hospital and back at it.
You too. So my big
Okay, y'all know the destination. Time to get your ass up in the penitentiary. This a different kind of score, but it's still a break-in, okay? Let's do it. Now, Lil D didn't waste no time. We got the targets all lined up for you. We make our big entries, hit them, get gone. Oh, and don't forget Lil D. He booked a ticket out of that, too. You get his fat ass back to me in one piece, you get your fat ass check. All right, keep me on speakerphone. Let me get K up in here.
What up, though, babe?
Hey, K, we moving.
Give me a second. I'm at the meeting. Let me jump in my ride real quick. Our benefits can never be equal. Alright, I'm all yours, girl. We get the word for your little help.
I'm glad you made that call. Don't leave loved ones with your debt.
Then I
Call
guess it's
800-299-3600
this some heavy ass shit.
now
I
and
guess
see
it
if you're
coming with a heavy
qualified for
paycheck, right?
$50,000.
We got every gang in the city paying us on this one. I told you, baby, they snitch. Played their own people against each other. And now they asses sit pretty in the pen where nobody can touch them. Except us.
Shit, it's a hit and run. Is everybody ready to go in hard, come out clean?
We set any minute now. It's all gonna be over.
Hell yeah, let's get this money, baby.
Coverage right over the phone, starting at less than $1 a day. Call 800-299-3630. That's 800-299-3630. 800-299-3630.
Explore Africa with DNA. Where 54 nations create the fabric of this.
Soon as you in, you on the clock. Find these fools and finish them. The way through to the yard is right near the water tower. Be ready, y'all. They gonna have choppers in the sky.
Girl, PD always got choppers in the sky. The authorities gonna take exception to you landing a whole ass car in the prison yard. I expect they're gonna come at you hard.
Comments coming in silence clear from Israel. There's Ron fires missiles schools. Israeli officials said that 5 people were killed. The residential building was hit in the southern city of Beersheba. It died by missiles before I want to get some analysis now from Ron from Bravo, of government officials and Professor, thank you so much for taking some time.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I would love to get started by just getting a sense of what you are talking about. Fortunately, the big go beyond people running the home, also some of the free politics down against those and that. What have people been talking about after what's in place, after Iran launched this attack?
Well, I think it's fair to say we were all shocked last night when Iran attacked. And the sense of disbelief was palpable. The fear, the voices, the shaking was absolutely shocking. And we all went prepared for the worst. And then we woke up against the fight, but this time for the better, learning that overnight the ceasefire had been struck. And so I think the sigh of Vidya, as you know, that had been one of the most
One way out of this bitch, straight out the motherfucking front gate.
It's gonna be locked, bro. Find the entry system and shoot that shit.
To go to bed and then wake up the next morning to break the news of a ceasefire. So let's get into the policy out of it all. How sad that the regime change president, as the U.S. president noted, would be destined to fail. Why is that? Especially if you consider the current regime is hugely unpopular among many of the countries.
Absolutely. The government is extremely unpopular, particularly in urban centers among the middle classes or what is left of the upper classes. But I think it's important to note that parliament by itself is not enough for the collapse of the government. First of all, this is a political system that has multiple dimensions. It has deep roots. It has various representatives. It also has the direct support of anywhere between 15 to 20% of the population that is motivated by the government's ideology. And it also has relying on a lot of it. So I think especially the education might sound in theory, but in practice it's not.
So let's move on. Let's talk Israel for a moment. What do you make of that country's government remaining silent now, 2 hours and 12 minutes into the president? Could this be interpreted as Israel not being on board?
It very well could. And apparently, according to the terms of the agreement, Israel has the right to respond to the latest volley of Iranian missiles whereby Iran does not. Now, that is a possibility. But I think it's important to keep in mind that actually includes the deadly effectiveness of their missiles and their ability to penetrate the Iron Dome. And I think that is not a lesson that is lost on Israeli military commanders and the civilian leadership, whose political position domestically, at least up until the outbreak of the war with Iran, was woefully precarious. And so I think the Israeli government now is taking pause and trying to assess its various options.
What about, look at its potential expanded objective here? We saw after the United States' intervention over the weekend, we saw that they continued with their campaign. Could that perhaps hint that Israel has expanded beyond just seeking a nuclear-free Iran? Does it have perhaps even more objectives now? Otherwise, I assume they would have actually held back their campaign when the United States launched their bombs.
Absolutely. In fact, statements coming out of Jerusalem indicate that they were after dismantling Iran's missile system. They were after decapitating the civilian leadership. And it would not be surprising if Israel wanted really to see turning Iran into where
Soon as you're done, there's only one way out of this bitch. Straight out the motherfucking front gate.
during its civil war.
Gonna be locked, no? Find the entry system and shoot
So
that
I
shit.
think it does serve Israel's interest if Iran's political leadership is so weak that it deserves
Okay, now I don't give a fuck how many squad cars crawling up your ass. You wanna get paid to get my cousin off that motherfucking prison bus.
So Israel's objective, if you look at it that way, really was not met.
Just as we were speaking with Professor, it's interesting.
Got my cousin. He texted me. Says he with you. Good work.
Damn straight. This motherfucker fat.
Let me take the pickup on this case. I got a couple of dudes gonna ride with me.
As
You got it,
eliminated
baby. You got it.
all existential threat. Additionally, kind of just read through this as we speak right now, but essentially agreeing against the part of this inspiring. But it just initially the fact that Israel is now responding, could that be now a sign?
Absolutely. It is definitely a positive sign. When elements fight against suffering, it's the civilians in Israel, the civilians in Iran that have borne the brunt of this, not the military or civilian leadership on either side. And so what we've seen is nothing other than misery here. And I think it would be a wonderful and positive development if Saner has prevailed. There's at least leadership position. Now we hope the other side
In that statement, Israel says that it has agreed to the proposal for a ceasefire. However, will stop the force for them and spread the distributions. So thank you so much for your expert analysis of this.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Sunday worker Saturdays, U.S. strikes. Third so these protests have been spread out there. This was a scene here in the U.S. Embassy in London Monday, with demonstrators demanding de-escalation in Israel around the conflict. And protesters, they're gathered outside the Parliament building before marching to the U.S. Embassy to be back American involvement. Major cities across Pakistan also supported the revolution, saying U.S. airstrikes in Iran. Protesters are also criticizing the government's recent decision to eliminate President Trump. The crisis now in Gaza. Health officials saying that 21 people were killed by Israeli fire while waiting for food at a food distribution center or water. The videos are all graphic, surreality of the event. The video appearing to show the accident that took place at a Gaza Humanitarian Foundation distribution center. CNN had reached out to the IDF. GHF-8 program and the has been held by forces that operate next month. Earlier this month, the CNN investigation pointed to the Israeli military opening fire on crowds, video. The windows were street New York Times deadlines Salam launches a deadly airstrike. The city is President Donald Trump announced a ceasefire. Together as President Trump prepares for the NATO summit in the Netherlands. Breaking news coverage from CNN continues after a short break.
Join the millions of fans who have trusted Legacy Box today.
Precise designs, subtle curves, curated upgrades, elevated design for thoughtful living.
Try to be global and we try to be smart. I want to hear authentic voices of people who are passionate, who are intelligent, and that's the consistency that we try to get. So that is inside.
Ruth doesn't talk about love, but that's what my podcast is all about. Join me and my guests for a new season. New conversations about loss, life, and love. All There Is with Anderson Cooper. Listen wherever you get your podcasts. This is CNN. More people get their news from CNN than any other news source. We're not exactly sure what kind of missiles it was, but this is a residential area. This is the reality of their school day. They go down into the subway because everywhere else in the city is simply unsafe. We're on our way to the next secret location. All of these missions have to move extremely quickly. They have to be very precise. Which compromises is Russia willing to make to achieve a peace agreement?
Today we live in an
I'm Rafael Bromo in Atlanta. This is CNN. And we have new developments in the Middle East where a tentative ceasefire is now in effect in Israel and Tehran. CNN's Nada Bashir joining live now from London at this hour. Now, so far, we've just heard from Israel a short moment ago saying that it has agreed to President Trump's proposal of a ceasefire. What else do we?
So we just received that statement from the Prime Minister's office. We have been waiting for official comment and remarks from the Israeli side with regards to President Trump's claim of a ceasefire being in place. The Prime Minister's office has noted that it was successful in its words, eliminating a dual existential and imminent threat, focusing on both Iran's nuclear capabilities, but also capabilities in terms of ballistic missiles as well, which we've used, of course, extensively in these attacks that we've seen across Israeli territory over more than a week now. We've heard from the Prime Minister's office also saying that the Israeli military have been successful in gaining control over Tehran's skies as well. Of course, we've seen extensive airstrikes being carried out by the Israeli military across Iran, including in the capital, Tehran. But what is important to note in that statement that has just come in from the Prime Minister's office is that they have said that they will continue to respond forcefully if there is any violation of this ceasefire agreement.
Okay, boss, today we're legit. We got a client you need washed.
inspect and drop off the car personally and in spotless condition. I just love hearing him smile, you know? Once you arrive, look for a lockbox. The owner should have dropped the car keys in there for you.
Donald Trump announcing that ceasefire mediated both.
Shit! No! Prime time daytime. Somebody's gotta do it.
What you doing? Yeah. All right, y'all. I'm going to bed. It is way past my bedtime. But I will see y'all tomorrow. Wait, will I? Tomorrow's Tuesday. I don't know. I guess I'm gonna see y'all tomorrow. Yeah, have a great Taco Tuesday. And I will see y'all tomorrow. Good night. What I said. Oh. All right. Later. Oh God, I gotta get up. I'm tired. It's almost 2 a.m. Jesus Christ. I didn't know we were gonna be here this long. Damn.